history, right up there with Cliff Huxtable and the dad from, Family Matters, Carl Winslow, and others like that. Rest in peace to the great James Avery. But in any event, yeah, he had all the regular characters and their actors. Joseph Marcel, who played Jeffrey the Butler, Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton, Karen Parsons, who played Hillary, Tatiana Ali, who played Ashley, Daphne Maxwell Reid, who played the second Aunt Viv, DJ Jazzy Jeff, who obviously played Jazz, obviously Will Smith. He got a couple of surprises that I did not think that he was going to. Well, one of them was spoiled, actually. The Janet Hubert reveal wasn't news really to me or anybody else who read the spoilers when they found out that news, or if they watched the trailer. They knew that she was going to appear because I forgot who broke the story, but it got leaked that they had reconciled and they met up after, 26, 27 years of not speaking about each other, but not really speaking face to face and airing out their problems. And they got a chance to do that on the special with the segment that featured Miss Janet Hubert, the original Aunt Viv. And so how it went, and also they got an appearance by Ross Bagley. Ross Bagley was the one who played Little Nicky on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So he was the last Banks child that appeared on the series as far as the main cast. And that's honestly when the switch was made from season 2, 3 onward. So it lasted 6 seasons. So after season 2, season 3, the original Aunt Viv, Janet Hubert, was released from her deal at NBC, and she obviously talked about how the executives lowballed her and how she wouldn't accept a lowball offer from the network because she was pregnant and she needed to take care of her baby because her husband wasn't working, and she went through a whole bunch of physical and emotional abuse, both on and off set, in her home life and on her professional life, because she felt like Will and the other cast members weren't as sensitive to her as they should have been, given her circumstances and given everything that was happening on set in terms of her physically. They didn't know about everything that happened in her home life up until that segment aired, because they did it in segments. They shot part of it in a recreation of the set that they used to film on in the Banks house, and then they did like sit down interviews one-on-one with each cast member just to talk about their memories on the show and how everything went when they were filming and they were doing the pilot and they were doing the actual series. So that was a surprise to me in terms of how she went in depth into why she was fired and how everything went down and everything like that. And Will chimed in when they sat down and had their little conversation and everything, and he basically was like, now that I'm a father of 3 and I know how women act while they're pregnant and going through divorces and going through a second marriage and going through everything raising my kids, I understand now what you were going through and how I could have been perceived as non-sensitive and a jerk and everything like that. And he talked about how he was a 21-year-old kid with a lot of power that he did not know that he had at that time. He didn't know. It was just like I was new on the scene in terms of being a television star, and he actually talked about this before on a YouTube video, I believe, about how I auditioned for network executives at Quincy Jones' house, and how Quincy was drunk and he was trying to convince him to do this TV show and everything like that. And he went more in detail on like the YouTube video, because he was talking about how, like, as a rapper, he was basically like, he wasn't broke, but he was like, he was riding public transportation at one point. Like, it got bad for him because, you know, he didn't pay his taxes, and, you know, the government took some of his money, and, you know, he was going through it a little bit. So he kind of needed the money, and he was kind of like, I don't know, but, you know, he ended up doing it, and the rest is history. My thoughts on the whole thing, like, just seeing them do the sit-down interviews with obviously Janet Hubert, Daphne Maxwell Reid, everybody. And I didn't know until, like, she said it, but when they were introducing Janet Hubert back to the set and back to everybody on the cast that she had gotten to know, obviously, for the first 2 or 3 years that she was on the show, Daphne Maxwell Reid actually said that she never met her, like, through, like, the circles of Hollywood and everything like that, and just, you know, in passing or anything, she never got a chance to meet her. So they got a chance to meet up and everything like that. So she was a breath of fresh air. And I know a lot of people, they were saying that they didn't believe, like, she was really that sincere, that she still harbored hatred towards Will Smith and everything like that. And it was kind of, it came off sort of fake. And I even said it to a degree, but here's the thing, like, they're older now. Obviously, she's a lot older than Will was anyway at the time that they had first started, you know, filming and everything like that. But he's way older now, and he's wiser, and he's a more mature man than he was even at 21 years old, because legally he was a man. Legally he could drink and he could do everything that he wanted to do and everything like that, but mentally he wasn't all the way there. Mentally he wasn't the guy, the Oscar winner, the, you know, the guy that we see on red carpets all the time when he's premiering a movie like Independence Day or Bad Boys or 7 Pounds or Pursuit of Happiness or a Hancock or a I Am Legend. That's the movie I almost blanked out. The I Am Legend or things like that. He wasn't that guy during that time. I don't even know if he was that guy during the time that he first started his movie career, and he really started to pop off with Bad Boys, the first Bad Boys, and Independence Day, and Men in Black, and everything like that. I don't even know if he was that guy then. He may have been, but we really didn't get to see the full scope of what he was then like he is now with his later roles, and obviously his maturity, obviously raising Willow and Jaden and still giving advice to Trey, who's older now and who a lot of people forget about. But yeah, he does have a third child. His oldest named Trey and others like that, you know. So, and obviously being married to Jada, and yeah, just everything. He probably wasn't ready for the type of influence and the type of power that he held at the time, being the guy at NBC, just being the guy at the network, because he was so popular, not just as a rapper but as an actor. And the cast talked about how they would get people on the street who didn't really know much about a lot of pop culture references and everything like that, but they knew the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They knew when it was Mondays at, like, what was it, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you know, going up against, because they said they went up against Monday Night Football. And Will even said, he's like, look, you ain't beating Monday Night Football, but we tried our best to try to put on a quality show and put on a quality product for families who wanted to tune into the show every night that it was on during the season. And they talked about some of the gags that they would do. They talked about, Karen Parsons actually brought it up during the segment they were filming on, like the actual set, not the sit down, but the actual set when they were together. She talked about the fourth wall break that Alfonso Ribeiro did when he dragged himself across the floor, like when he was screaming and crying, and during the episode when Will and Lisa first met, when he got set up in that cabin, and he talked about how and Will tricked him into thinking that he escaped, but something went wrong with the whole thing, and he had to get rid of Lisa, if you know what I mean. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, she's still up there. I can't believe I left her." And he was like, and that's when Carlton was like, "No, how could you do it?" And he, you know the clip of him dragging himself across the floor with his hands, dog paddling across the kitchen floor on the set, and then running all around each set piece, and then running into Will's arms off stage. She was like, and Will asked him, he was like, how did you do that? Like, how was it physically possible for you to do that? And he was like, I don't even know. He was like, I have no idea half of the stuff that I did. He was like, there's a lot of stuff that I do that I didn't know that I could do. And it was just like, that was one of the funniest moments ever on TV at the time. And obviously when you watch it back on the reruns with every channel that it's on, it just gets funnier and funnier every time that you watch it. And it's like, that was a fourth wall break. That was a no-no. Will even said that was a no-no, like, in television at the time. Like, you do not break the fourth wall. And then obviously, like, later on you get shows like the Bernie Mac show, which is kind of like a fourth wall break. You're talking to America, and all that other stuff like that. Which is kind of a fourth wall break. But at that time, like, you running around each set piece and you not filming and you not doing like a specific scene, and that, like, that was taboo. You know what I mean? But just in retrospect, like, watching it, just seeing everybody being as close as they obviously are in real life, and they take pictures on social media, they do reunions all the time. Those just aren't filmed. This one was a film reunion where they just caught up and they talked about just life and just how they came to be on set, during the auditions, how they would do in their table reads, how they would be on set, off set, everything like that. They just went in deep, and then obviously you add the dynamic of Janet Hubert, with her and Will and her moment, and their moment together, and then obviously seeing the cast for the first time in like over 25 years, and then obviously meeting Daphne Maxwell Reid, which was a good moment. It closed a lot of doors on that chapter in their life in terms of the beef and everything like that, and it just got to the point where it needed to be settled. So I'm glad they got their closure. I'm glad that they was able to figure everything out, and yeah, man, that was the special. Was about an hour, and it was great, man, just to see how far they all came, man. where they are now in their careers and just thriving and looking good, actually, man. They all look, I mean, they're older now, but they still look the same from when they did the show. It's amazing how they just all don't age. You know what they say, man, black don't crack. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think, man. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Subscribe to the channel, I mean. Like and share the video if you like it. Tell people about the channel, so we can get things popping over here, man. I like doing these reviews, man. I like doing these reviews of these shows and these movies and things like that. So if you enjoy it, man, show me some support, show me some love, man. I'm out.